Hello and welcome to the City of Geeks YouTube channel with newest review for us. We're doing a little different. We're not in the car and I'm by myself. So welcome to my first review here. So likes, comment, and subscribe to the video. I'm going to leave that right on the front. That way you can do that, get it done with, and then watch my video here. So today's review is Anna and the Apocalypse 2018 Zombie Horror Christmas Musical. Yes, that's a lot of adjectives. And normally, for movies like this, on the podcast and other places I've mentioned, that feels like something trying way too hard, throwing a lot of stuff in there just to get people to like, look at that, it's funny, it's a weird concept. But actually everything in this works. They all come together very well, and it's one of my favorite movies of this year, and I had a blast watching it at the screening last week with Kim, who probably be writing a written review soon, along with my wife and one of Kim's friends, and an entire crowd of full people having a great time. And the film is written by Alan McDonald and Ryan McHenry. Ryan McHenry originally made the 2011 short film Zombie Musical, which I remember watching a couple years ago when it came online. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2015, but since it was his idea, he did get credit for it. So rest in peace, Ryan, and thank you for what you did there. And it's directed by John McPhail, someone who I'm not really familiar with the work he's done before. Same thing with the work not done before. A lot of the cast here is newer, so you might not recognize them from anything else. Some of the older cast members are a lot of BBC credits behind them, so you're coming to this just from the concept alone rather than, oh, I know this person and this person and this thing, this person, that thing. But everyone's amazing. I'm going to lead out with that. But before we get into anything else, we probably should talk about what the movie's actually about. It's outside of zombie musical Christmas horror film. Anna and the Apocalypse is about Anna, wouldn't you know, who played by Ella Hunt, who we haven't really seen anything either, as I mentioned already, as she's a senior in high school and looking to make some changes in her life. Everything's coming up here. Her mom died recently, so she's kind of on the outs with her dad because she wants to take a year off to go to Australia instead of going right to university. And then you got her and her group of friends. You got John, her best friend, who's harboring a crush on her, and then you got an ex-boyfriend, Nick, who's kind of a jerk, and then a couple other people along the way, all of which are wonderfully done characters. Everyone actually has a character arc and heart, and no one's just around just to be a joke and then move on. But anyway, yeah, she's looking to move on with her life, and so there's a lot of changes going on for everyone in this. It brings more of a solid footing to this rather than just here's Zombie Christmas Musical. But of course, as she starts to go through these issues with her dad and with her school, the zombie apocalypse breaks out. So he has to deal with that too, along with everything else that's going on. There's been a lot of comparisons to Shaun the Dead, and for the same reason, where you have a different type of movie with zombies overlaid upon it, where that was a rom-com, this is a coming-of-age movie, with the addition of the zombies on top of that. And then the Christmas musical makes things fun too, adds a lot of extra jokes, a lot of extra fun there, because this is, it's a comedy, just like Shaun the Dead, and it's hilarious. The jokes really work. There's a lot of great gags from the gore, a lot of character humor, a lot of slapstick in many ways, because just like Shaun the Dead, they have to think of different ways to take out the zombies to what they have on hand, which usually involves something like bowling pins, because there's a big sequence in the bowling alley, or various candy cane like implements. You see in the poster, she's holding a candy cane with a sharp point at the end. So there's a lot of Christmas theming to how everything happens, along with the way the zombies look, like the one in the trailer with the snowman that shows where things start to happen. On the musical end, the songs are all wonderful. Some of them sound a little bit the same, but there's a lot of standouts, including Nick's Soldier at War and No Such Thing as a Hollywood Ending. Everyone has a great voice. A couple people do sound like they're auto-tuned, because they're more for maybe for jokes or for other skills that they have. But the main cast all have great voices with the hilarious songs that really actually fit what's happening. These aren't stopping everything for a throwaway song you throw out. They all move the plot forward, both character-wise and an actual plot. That's a little bit of a lie. There are some songs that are only for jokes, but it takes place during a Christmas pageant, so they fit, including a penguin rap by a Santa Baby-esque musical, which is highly inappropriate for someone in high school, which makes that more of the joke there. And other standouts from the cast include Paul Kaye as a really dickish school superintendent style person. I don't think he's quite a principal, but I don't know exactly what it's called, because this is a Scottish film. I didn't mention that before, so the words are all slightly different, but he's maybe more of a vice principal who's looking to become the actual principal over time, who just revels in how much of a dick he is. He's more of the human villain more than anything else in the film, and he just lives into it. He might be more recognizable from Game of Thrones from a couple episodes that he was in. When I mentioned that's where he's from, my wife was like, oh yes, and she said his character's name, who I don't immediately recognize, but I'm sure if I saw him on screen I'd see him in all sorts, like 200 BBC productions and other TV shows. He's definitely stand out from the cast as our human villain. If there's any issues to the film, it's maybe a little bit of the pacing. Things start off a little bit slow, then zombie apocalypse, and then stop for a while, which it feels like there's some stuff that we might have missed. It cuts from it cuts to an aftermath of an item, but it feels like we should have seen the item in the way that everyone's talking. Makes you feel that I fell asleep for a few minutes, that I missed the big sequence, but everything ultimately is explained, but it's kind of a jolt, along with some timeline issues, which I mentioned they go to the bowling alley where they stay for like 2 days. It doesn't seem to match in that. But besides that, maybe a little trimming there, or maybe just a couple more lines to help move everything along. It's all fine. Like I said, it's hilarious. There's lots of great gags. I don't want to ruin anything is for you, so I'm really trying to pull back from this awesome bit or that awesome bit. But it has a fantastic heart. Like, my wife teared up at the end during one particular heart-to-heart between a couple characters. Lots of great gags. The gore fans will be happy, but it's not so gory in which that people who don't like horror films are like, oh no, I'm not going to see that. There's just enough to keep both sides happy. So it doesn't come to focus, but it doesn't push it off the side in order to just make everyone accessible. The songs are all fantastic. I can't wait to get the soundtrack. I did ask for it for the holidays, so hopefully I get that. And if not, I'll purchase it myself after the new year. And everyone's an amazing performer, and it just all comes together so well, besides a couple bits here and there. I definitely recommend you check this out. It's the only big thing coming out this week, if you're watching this week that it comes out. We're kind of in a lull between a couple movies, so by all means go see it, buy the soundtrack, tell all your friends about it. It might, like I said, it might seem kind of dumb with all those adjectives in there, but it all comes together so well with such care and such love that it's a new Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead meets La La Land is what they keep calling it, and I like Shaun of the Dead a lot better. I liked it more in La La Land. I wasn't a big fan of that. I know I won the minority for that, and I love musicals, but that's a whole different thing. So check us out at cityofgeek.com, subscribe to the YouTube, like, share, and subscribe to this, and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, etc., and keep watching. Thanks, guys.